Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/maliciouscompliance, where people conform to the letter but not the spirit of a request. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy some malicious compliance. You need scan machines? Hold on, let me get you fired first. I come to you now with what will be my juiciest story of malicious compliance yet. To give a little bit of a backstory here, I've submitted several posts of malicious compliance on this subreddit from my job as a network admin at a food processing plant. While the ones I've posted have been good, I feel like this one would be my magnum opus for the situation, drama, and ultimate conclusion. Without further ado, let me tell you this story. So, this started earlier today when my coworker approached me after working on the floor, informing me of how Kevin approached him in regards to scan machines that he says he needs to be ready by today. Scan machines that, for starters, we do not have available, but I'll explain that in a moment. First, let me tell you a little bit about Kevin, so you know exactly what I'm dealing with here. Kevin is the company's plant manager, and he's, for a lack of a better term, abrasive. If I can describe him better, he's the type of manager that loves to micromanage his employees while demanding the most out of every and anyone when he feels that he needs something important done. This is where our situation came in. Long story short, Kevin wanted the Omni scan machines that shipping mainly uses for inventory to be used by his employees to track pallets to ensure that they are accurate. Sounds reasonable, right? Well, I thought so too, even if he had that out the blue. Well, as I soon found out today, things soon escalated the way that they did, and while I wish things were handled better, I did things the best that I could do in the end, so there aren't any real regrets here. So, steering back to the situation, Kevin told my coworker that the two other scan machines, because the company only had 3, were either broken or unaccountable. That obviously didn't set well with either of us, because now, to remedy that, he wanted the scan machines we had on reserve for a special project to be used for his project. My coworker recorded the convo, which will be used later, and asked if I can step in to talk with him. So, I did. Walking to the area Kevin was in, I can see that I wasn't alone. Not that it really mattered, since my business was with him. I addressed Kevin the situation with the scan machines, and, per our IT policy, we must determine the status of the machines, why one is broken and why the other is missing, how broken is the machine, why was there no better accountability made for our assets, etc. Kevin, in his own fashion, didn't have an answer for me, but instead told me to go ask whoever had the machines and find out why. I looked at him, right in the eyes, and asked him, "Sir, isn't this your project? Shouldn't you be held accountable since the equipment was under your care at the time?" Obviously, Kevin somehow took offense to that, as he felt like I was being disrespectful, and that how dare I put him on the spot like that. So, as always, in situations like this, I decided to call my boss and inform him of the situation, and asked for his input. Putting my phone on speaker, my boss informed Kevin that he cannot accommodate what he wants simply because we do not have what he wants, nor can it be done the same day. Kevin then suggests the scan machines that we have for that special project. My boss obviously told him no, as he will not be allocating assets for a project to fill his needs. Kevin tried to dispute, then saying that he wanted this done today. My boss said, and I quote this happily, "Well, if you had enough foresight to inform us of this project sooner, we would have been able to accommodate you better. Keep in mind that as per our policy, should the plant have any and all projects that will involve IT related assets and or information, it must be coordinated with the IT department prior to deployment to ensure a seamless transition. You didn't, and therefore you have to accept the consequences as someone in management should." Keep in mind that also prior to calling my boss, I was also recording my convo with Kevin because anyone here on this subreddit knows that CYA is absolutely essential. I then proceeded to resume my recording, giving Kevin the illusion that I was hanging up with my boss, which I did, but he didn't need to know all the details. I then asked Kevin if there was anything else if he needed from me, to which he had a bit of a grump and told me that he found me being very unreasonable, basically saying that I wasn't doing my job properly and that if it were up to him, he would fire me on the spot for being so incompetent. Sure, Kevin, keep feeding me that delicious info. So, I went back to my office to see what I can wrap up on for the day when I got a call from my HR manager to report to her office. Y'all already know where this is going, but we're coming to the conclusion here, so buckle up. So, I walk in there, and sure enough, Kevin is there too, with a smug look on his face. My HR manager told me that Kevin informed her that he found my conduct with him to be very disrespectful, and that I refused to accommodate him with what he needed or gave a valid excuse why. It's no surprise here, but I was ready for this. Prior to even showing up, I had my co-worker email me the recording he had with Kevin, since by that time he had left work and went home. Along with my recordings, I had what I needed, but I wanted to put the cherry on top. So, after a quick text to my boss, he showed up with the most serious expression I've seen him in. Keep in mind also that he was supposed to be starting his vacation, and getting dragged in for Kevin's BS did not sit well with him. So, after Kevin said his piece, and I said mine, the HR manager turned to me and said, "That one guy 141, do you have any evidence that dismisses Kevin's accusations?" With the most professional looking smug look on my face, I told her that I did. So I pulled out my phone and pulled up the 2 recordings that both my coworker and I had with our conversation with Kevin. So, after listening to the convos, Kevin's expression went from smug to as if he saw a ghost. Without much to say, the HR manager turned to Kevin and told him, "How can you even say such a thing to someone here? That one guy 141 has been one of our most dedicated workers here. Being in the job that he's in, he also has a lot on his plate to contend with. It is also a policy that his manager enforces that they do not keep surplus equipment if it is not meant to be utilised to its fullest extent. That is why we order through them to supply exactly what we need. Your conduct towards him does not merit any actual justification through your callous words and berating him in the manner that you took." Afterwards, I stepped out with my boss while the HR manager doles out what she felt was necessary to Kevin. Not long afterwards, he left her office without saying a word to either my boss or I. Going back into her office, we were told that Kevin had already had a history of this sort of thing happening. But without any substantial evidence, they couldn't can him. We did, and it was more than enough, along with the paper trail stacked against him, to get his butt fired. Again, this just happened today, so I'm feeling a mix of anxiety, joy, and some sadness for Kevin. In some misguided way, I know he was just trying to do his job, but I just wish he could have handled things better. Anyways, thanks for reading, guys, and have a good one. I know that he said he felt bad for Kevin, but I'm pretty sure if he's got like a history of doing that, he's probably done way worse to other people, so it's probably a good thing that he's out of the job. I got malicious complianced by a 5-year-old. I have a 5-year-old daughter. She's a stubborn little monster, and I love her with all my heart. My little monster hates going to bed, even when she's tired. She will not only fight us to avoid the bedtime routines, but she'll fight her own physical exhaustion by running around, dancing, starting her own little concert with that idiotic karaoke machine that the missus insisted on getting, etc. So, last night, it was getting to be bedtime, and I launched the first salvo by asking her to get in her jammies. She did not say no, she simply said that she had to keep cleaning. She has a nice little set of Melissa and Doug cleaning paraphernalia, and has been using the duster to dust off the fridge, at least as high as her 40-inch height would allow. She gave me a mini Karen look, and the missus and I agreed she could clean one more thing and then she would have to get ready for bed. So, this cheeky little monkey gets the tiny dustpan and little brush and sits down in one corner of the kitchen. This bull-headed little person proceeds to clean the entire kitchen floor by hand. 20 minutes later, she's ready to put on her jammies. The floor was legitimately clean. I wasn't even mad. It was amazing. I'm really confused. Right now, I probably can't think of a time where I ever didn't want to go to bed. Kindergarten kid beats the system in the name of fairness. My elementary school had a policy of having kids stand against a wall during recess if they misbehaved. My kindergarten best friend, Heather Ham, and I looked nearly identical. We both had blonde hair, blue eyes, and were of similar heights. One day, I convinced Heather to pick some flowers from the school's flower bed with me. She got caught, and I did not. Heather was told she would have to spend the next day's recess standing against the wall as punishment. When I tried to confess to the recess monitor, they thought I was fishing for the same punishment as Heather just so I could keep her company, and I was told to worry about myself. This didn't set well with my kindergarten sense of justice, so I hatched a plan. I told Heather to come to school the next day wearing jeans, a white shirt, and pigtails. I did the same. About halfway through recess, we swapped places so I could serve the other half of the sentence. The plan worked, but we got caught at the end of recess when Heather lined up with the rest of the class. Our teacher placed some calls home and figured out that I orchestrated the plot. She wasn't pleased, but my mum used the argument that my scheme showed awfully good judgment and character for a freaking 5-year-old. Heather and I were given another day of recess on the wall, but not before my mum got the monitors to apologise to me for ignoring my confession in the first place. It wasn't really a malicious compliance, it was more like a wholesome compliance, I guess. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now, or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like, and if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.